Compact luxury crossovers are hotter than ever. Just a few weeks ago, Porsche introduced the Macan, and it is selling off the lots. Now, Lexus has had a ton of success with the RX, selling about 100,000 units a year. That's more than some luxury brands sell for their entire model lineup. But not everyone is happy with the RX. There are maybe about 5 to 10% of Lexus owners that want something a little smaller, a little sportier. And here we have the 2015 NX. There are two models available, the 200T or the 300H. Both are available in front or all-wheel drive. 200T has the first ever 2-liter turbo, first ever turbocharged engine in the US, and the 300H, of course, is a hybrid. It's the 6th hybrid in the Lexus lineup. In case you're not familiar with this is called the spindle grille. This is the face of the Lexus brand. It was introduced a few years ago and has now made its way into just about every vehicle in the lineup. Now, this is the F Sport, so it is a more pronounced version of the spindle grille. Very bold. You're going to see this thing from a mile away, just like you're going to see these amazing LED lights. You have 3 of them over here, day running lights. You have this kind of Lexus shape, a lot of angular lines going on. When you look at the profile of this car, you really have like these 3 distinctive lines that kind of make the car look like it's in motion even when it's standing still. There are a lot of exciting things to mention in the all-new NX, but I think what's under the hood is the biggest news. This, as I mentioned, is the first turbocharged engine in the US for the Lexus brand. And I could definitely see this making its way to other vehicles, perhaps the IS250. When you look at the horsepower and numbers for this vehicle, so it's a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder direct injected engine producing 235 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. Compare that to the 2.5-liter V6 that's in the IS250. That engine is about 200 pounds heavier and about 30 to 40 horsepower slower. So no comparison. This thing is fun to drive. It has about 15 pounds of boost, so it really gets up and goes. 0 to 60 times for the front-wheel drive version is 7.2 seconds, and for the all-wheel drive version, 7.0 seconds. There's no real way from a design or badging standpoint to determine if a vehicle is a front wheel or all-wheel drive in the NX lineup, but when you see the F Sport badging, you know it's a turbo. Also, if you see the dual exhaust, you know it's a turbo. So let's take a look at what's going on back here. As you can see, great design, great styling, very aggressive tail lights over here. And when you get in here, this tailgate, by the way, is adjustable to 5 preset positions, but positions 1, 2, and 3 are for really small people. Now, this is a tonneau cover, which a lot of vehicles have. You're going to need to remove this if you want to put, let's just say, a mountain bike. You'll fold these rear seats down flat. But what do you do with this? A lot of times you have to throw it in the garage or you just throw it in the car and it gets damaged. But Lexus is taking care of that. Under here is a storage compartment for your tonneau cover. Fits in there nicely. Close it. Bam. Lexus tells us this interior is LFA inspired. No, it's not an LFA interior. No, this is not an LFA. This is a compact crossover. We've already determined that. Actually, this is based on the RAV4. However, 90% of the parts are completely different in the NX than the RAV4, and it's 20% stiffer, so let's get those things out of the way. But it is LFA inspired, which means the colors, the gauges, the shifters. These are things that kind of trickle down from this amazing supercar. So let's take a quick look. You have this nice compact steering wheel, a lot of controls here, and because this is the F Sport, you get the sporty gauges, but you also get a lot of cool information that you can toggle through. For example, the boost. You can actually see how much boost you're generating. It uses a weird multiplier and not your typical boost gauge, but it works. They do this multiplied by 10 psi. At the end of the day, max boost, 15 psi, you know exactly what you're doing. You have a fixed 7-inch navigation screen and information screen. Every vehicle gets this. Even if you don't get the navigation, you still get this screen. A lot of great information there. As you can see, they've completely redone this center stack, a very compact shifter. You have 3 driving modes, Eco, Normal, and Sport, depending on which mode you're in. Things like air conditioning, suspension, steering, throttle control can be changed. There's a lot going on in this little area. So some vehicles will get a dial, but the more upgraded vehicles will get this RTI or remote touch interface. It's basically a trackpad that has some haptic feedback. It's really pretty cool. I think it works a lot better than the old system, and it's just flatter, more flush, fits better. Also, under here you have a sunglass holder. So lift up the center console, you have a little vanity mirror, and you can actually take your sunglasses and put them away nicely. Next, cup holder. Looks like a regular cup holder. No, it doesn't heat up your drinks or cool your drinks, but what it does have is this super grippy material on the bottom. So if you push down, you could take the cap off, lift up your water bottle, take a nice sip. Just little touches like that that really make this car stand out. This is a very competitive segment, so Lexus knows they have a big reputation to uphold with the RX, and this car better deliver. So let's take it for a quick spin and show you. A lot of technology going on in the all-new NX, including Lexus Inform, which you've seen in other vehicles. But Lexus Inform Remote is something that's not quite yet available, but will be at launch, and so we can't really demonstrate it. But it's got some really cool features. For example, you can do geofencing. So you have a kid that's a teenager, and you only want them to drive in certain areas, boom, you can do that. If you want to make sure that that driver doesn't go over a certain speed limit, you can control that. All these things you can do from this remote app, even start your car from your house if you want to kind of do a remote start. So a lot of cool features, a lot of great technology in this NX. From a driving dynamics perspective, I really like this car. They've done a great job balancing it out. The hybrid all-wheel drive system is very interesting. There's really no linkage from the front to the rear. Essentially, you have electric motors that can turn on and off to operate the rear. It drives really nice, 0 to 60 in 7 seconds. I've read a few reviews from other outlets that said it was a little sluggish. Didn't feel sluggish to us at all, very responsive. Turbos are where it's at. If you look at almost every car company, they're moving in that direction. It just makes sense. You get good fuel economy, you get these smaller displacement engines that weigh less, that are more efficient, and when you need that power, you have it, it's on demand. The paddle shifters are nicely done. The gauges are, I hate to say it, but very engaging, but that's what they are. This car is not bad. These seats are extremely comfortable. This is the F Sport, so it's got the sportier seats. Unlike most seats where they kind of make the seat and then put a cover over it, here they have a cover and then they inject the foam into it. It's not anything new, but Lexus was one of the first car companies to do it. They did it in the IS. I just want to make it clear, we've only had this vehicle for half a day. We have to give it back now and pick up a hybrid, but so far we like what we've seen. We'd love to tell you about the pricing, we just don't know what it is. Lexus will announce that just before it hits the dealerships, which is anticipated to be towards the end of November. But for now, really enjoy driving this car. It is a lot of fun. If you get behind the wheel of one of these, put it in sport mode, and you really see how responsive it is. I'm not saying it's a Porsche Macan, but it certainly is a great step in the right direction for attracting new, more energetic, younger buyers into the brand. The RX is kind of shifted into an older category, a lot of empty nesters, people in their 30s and 40s. Lexus wants to get people in their 20s and 30s, and I think they're really gonna do that with this vehicle. We had it parked outside of our hotel in Seattle, and there was a young professional, about 30 years old, and he spent a lot of time looking at this car, inside, outside, asked us a lot of questions, and he really seemed intrigued. And that's the target buyer for Lexus. So if they can attract that guy, I think they're gonna have a real winner on their hands. Overall, looks great, drives great. We really like what we've seen so far. Looking forward to spending a full, proper week with it.